Hello, welcome to Chess with Ivan. Firstly, this is the first video I am recording since I have hit 100 subscribers. So I wanted to just say a super quick thank you to all of you guys. Thanks for being part of the beginning of this journey and know that I really appreciate it. And one day when this channel hits 100,000 subscribers, you will know that you were in the first 0.1% of people who believed in me at the very start. So really, from the bottom of my heart, thanks very much. Yes, that will totally happen with the 100,000 subscribers, I can guarantee you that. Now, to commemorate this magical landmark, I wanted to share with you my favorite pattern of delivering a checkmate with a knight. How can a measly knight deliver checkmate, you might ask? Watch the video and you will see. If you're seeing this pattern for the first time, prepare to have your mind completely blown. And if you've already delivered checkmates like that, I'm challenging you to show me in your comments your favorite game where you managed to do this kind of checkmate. As you can see, only white has a knight on the board, so we'll be winning this particular situation with white. But to make it more natural, let's imagine here it's us playing with the black pieces and see what's happening in this position. So take a couple of seconds, pause the video, and come up with a good move for black that you think looks reasonable. All right, so if you had a look at the position, basically black is doing better. Black has two rooks, whereas white has a knight and a rook. And also black has 6 pawns versus 5. Not only that, but also white's rook on a1 is undefended, and in general black's pieces are a little bit more active. So if black plays well, they're not going to win in the next 1 or 2 moves, but what they're going to do is slowly edge closer towards victory. However, if black gets a bit greedy and takes the rook now, which looks like a great move, you win a free rook, you're threatening checkmate with the bishop and the queen. Basically, that gives white a chance actually to win the game. It looks like a very normal move, but it ignores the threat of what you're going to see next and doesn't really cut it, even though it looks like a great move. Almost any other reasonable looking move for black wins. But basically white has a cool resource in order to save themselves in this position. So now I'm flipping the board. Let's say we just lost the rook and we need to win the game. And basically, don't forget that black has a checkmate in 1. So now comes the real challenge. Pause the video and figure out how to win this game as white. I will give you a hint. It will take 5 moves at the most. So quite a long solution. And the last move will be given by checkmating using your knight. All right, you can see you've done like a lot of thinking, so let's get into the solution. To those of you who have correctly solved it, congratulations. I really want to see you try it out in real games. And for those who don't know this pattern, let's go. So when you're so behind and when you're basically faced with being checkmated in 1 move, what you need to be doing is moves that are forcing, meaning moves that require your opponent to respond to your moves instead of doing their plan. So these moves are usually checks, because then they need to deal with saving their king. So here, the checks that we have at our availability, 2 of them are good and 1 is really bad. Obviously, coming here to a e8 is not good because you will just lose the queen to the rook that's next to it. But either c4 or b3 are good squares to give a diagonal check to the king. So, black now has 3 legal moves. First of all, they can just give away their rook, blocking, but that's not very good because they basically didn't deal with the threat. The queen just took the rook and can execute exactly the same plan as before. Also, the queen is also threatening this helpless rook. So that is not a good move. And then they also have 2 moves with their king in order to escape check, going to f8 or h8. f8 is not a good move because it will result in an immediate checkmate. Queen to f7 is checkmate. A checkmate by the queen, supported by the knight. So really, the best line of defense for black, the one that doesn't immediately lose, is to go king to h8. Now again, if we do some random move, black will checkmate us, so we need to keep the attack going. And the way to do that is knight to f7. This is the only check in this position with the knight. You also have this check with the queen here, but then the king can simply take it back. So that's definitely not a good move and a move that will result in a very quick loss for you as white. let's see what happens here. Knight is checking the king. So when a knight checks you and you can't take that knight, you always need to move the king. You cannot block like when you're getting checked by a queen or a rook or a bishop, because the knights are pieces that can jump over pieces. If you remember at the start of the game, usually the knight is jumping over the pawns. So basically the king has to move. Only one square to do it in this position. h8 goes back to g8. And now, any move that you make with this knight, anywhere allowed, results in a check, because the knight is blocking its own queen. So by us removing that knight, we deliver a check with the queen. However, the best move is knight to h6. First of all, it's not just a check, it's also a double check, because the knight is also attacking the king. And secondly, and very important, as you're going to see in a bit, the knight now is basically attacking the square g8. We saw what happens if the king goes to f8. We just give a checkmate. Again, queen supported by the knight. So really black should go again to h8. But there is a big difference between this position, when the king was in the corner, and the position with the knight here. And the big difference is that the king now is in the corner, and g8 is not attacked just by the queen, but also the knight. So now, pause for one final time in this video and find a move that will result in a checkmate in the next move. So you have checkmate in 2 moves in this position. Go ahead. All right, so the winning move here is the wackiest looking move, which is to give your queen away. You go with your queen to g8, and that's the beauty of this trick. And the reason why you can do it now, but you couldn't do it before, is the knight is protecting it. So you cannot capture this queen as black with the king, because the knight is protecting it. So the only way to capture that queen is with the rook. And you might say, Ivan, like, this is the stupidest video I've ever seen. You just show me how to give up my queen. That is dumb. It is not dumb, because now the knight can jump to f7, delivering a beautiful checkmate. So basically, this time the king cannot move anywhere, because it's kind of walled in, as in a pharaoh's, sarcophagus, or however you pronounce that word in English. Basically, it is completely trapped and encircled by its own pieces. So this actually is a checkmate. And the knight, aided by the, glorious sacrifice of the queen, which was the last bit of the puzzle how to wall in the king, is able to deliver a beautiful checkmate. And if you didn't do that as white, then black taking your rook would work for black, because if you don't know this pattern in this position, like, basically things are looking pretty grim as white. So, to recap the video, let's see what is necessary for you to deliver this checkmate in order for you to know how to use it. You need first this diagonal to be clear. So if there is a pawn here, that will prevent you from doing this very well. You need an active queen that is able to jump on one of those squares. So for example, one of these squares needs to be free for you to jump in with a check. And you need this square to not be very well defended by black. If there was a rook here, then in the final position, instead of going in the corner, maybe the rook can sacrifice itself for your knight. So you might win a rook, but you'll definitely not win the game. So you need this square to be weak, so that your queen and your knight can exploit it and jump and attack through it in order to win the game. Finally, if one of these pawns have moved, also you will not be able to win, because, let's just make some random moves to demonstrate that. Now, if you do your plan, by the time it's time to deliver the killing, crushing blow for the checkmate, there will be free space for the black king. So you don't want that. So these are the ingredients that you need to deliver this checkmate. And that's why it doesn't happen all the time, since there's a lot of things that need to go your way. But definitely I've won at least over 10 games like this. And it's a really cool pattern in order to deliver kind of a beautiful checkmate. Something like that needs to happen for you to do it. I hope you'll be able to practice it, understand it, and learn how to wall in the black king. One more time to replay it in order to capture the full beauty of it. And there you go, a beautiful smothered checkmate. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe, spread the good word, and let me know what you thought of this video. Bye!